Here's the uncomfortable truth about the NBA. The league isn't powered by rings. It's powered by receipts. The paying fan is the engine. The tickets, the jerseys, the league pass subscriptions. The people who build their week around one game, only to find out the star is resting, or the franchise cornerstone wants out, or the season's over, before it even started. And that brings us to a question that's been quietly growing for years. Did player empowerment go too far? Not should players have rights. Yes, they should, because organizations have historically treated players like assets, moved, flipped, discarded. But the real question is when and how that empowerment gets used. Because there's a difference between a player having freedom and a player rewriting the deal after the fans already paid for it. So today, we're not doing a rant. We're doing a real diagnosis. Trade demands, super teams, load management. Some of it was necessary, but some of it's starting to crack the product. Now, let's be fair. Player empowerment started as a correction, a pushback against a league where loyalty was preached to players, while teams made business decisions without blinking. For decades, front offices controlled destinies. They controlled movement. They controlled leverage. So when stars started taking control of their careers, it was a revolution. And if you want to pinpoint the moment the modern era truly arrived, you can't ignore LeBron's decision in 2010, when he announced he was leaving Cleveland for Miami.
The answer to the question everybody wants to know. LeBron, what's your decision?
In this fall, man, it's very tough. In this fall, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach and join the Miami Heat.
Miami Heat. That was the conclusion you woke up with this morning.
That was the conclusion I woke up with this morning.
That wasn't just a free agency choice. That was a signal. The stars weren't just playing in the league anymore. They were shaping it. But here's where the line starts to blur. Empowerment doesn't stop at freedom. It evolves into collaboration, and collaboration turns into super teams. LeBron to Miami didn't just change where a player could go. It changed what fans expected stars to do. And then 2016 poured gasoline on it. Kevin Durant joining the 73-win Warriors in July 2016 wasn't just a signing. It was the ultimate optimize the odds move. And whether you think it was smart or weak, the effect was the same. It taught the league that the fastest way to a ring wasn't building, it was linking up. And for big markets and glamour teams, that's a cheat code. But for small markets, it turns the NBA into a place where you're developing stars for somebody else's championship window. If you're rocking with the 3-point revolution, hit like and subscribe. And comment this: has player empowerment helped the NBA more or hurt it more? Be honest, no fake outrage. This is the real battlefield. Trade demands. Because free agency is one thing. A contract ends and you choose. But what we've seen more and more is something else. Players signing long deals, then forcing exits mid-contract. And the clearest case study is Anthony Davis in 2019, when his agent informed New Orleans that AD wanted a trade. From the player's side, it's understandable. I want to win. I don't want to waste years. But from the team side and the fan side, it's a gut punch, because the Pelicans weren't just losing a player. They were losing a promise that fans bought into. And then the saga era really took over. Ben Simmons, a situation where he refused to play. And reports do detail how mental health became part of the standoff. And let me be careful here. Mental health is real. I'm not here to diagnose anybody. But the optics matter, because fans started feeling like the contract was optional. And then you have James Harden, a star who has requested trades multiple times in recent years, and whose trade request era has been well documented. The NBA even fined Harden in 2023 after public comments tied to refusing to fulfill contractual obligations unless traded. So now the question becomes, if contracts aren't anchors, what are they? Because fans don't buy jerseys for maybe. They buy into the idea that a team means something. And when stars can force the script rewrite whenever they want, the fans' emotional involvement gets devalued. Now, let's talk about what nobody wants to touch, because it's complicated. Load management. On one hand, the human body matters. Players are bigger, faster, and the season is a marathon. And on the other hand, fans are paying premium prices to see stars. And too often, they're getting the understudy.
So it's like every day that I stepped on the floor, I remember my father. Yeah. I remember having one ticket and being there, and all the families and all the people that were probably just like me. If David Robinson wouldn't have played in that game, like, I get emotional thinking about it, because I got to stand next to him in game 6 of the NBA Finals when he was about to go off into the sunset and tell him that he was my favorite player growing up. So I take that responsibility and say, wait, we can't just gloss over this. And I blame the teams, I blame the training staffs, because the players in this generation are doing more of what they are told than going out there and leaving it all out on the floor.
The league knows this has become a problem, which is why the NBA created a player participation policy starting in 2023-24, specifically aimed at promoting star participation and limiting certain kinds of rest situations. That right there is the tell. When the league has to step in and say, hey, the stars need to play more, it means the balance has shifted too far away from the fan experience. Now, here's the part where we keep it real. The counter argument is strong too. Teams do trade players without warning. Teams do cut players. Teams do promise futures and then pull the plug. So why should players be the only ones expected to be loyal? And on top of that, the NBA is entertainment, yes, but it's also labor, bodies, careers, futures. So no, player empowerment isn't evil. It was necessary. But here's the line. Necessary doesn't mean limitless. So, did player empowerment go too far? A bit, yes. Not because players shouldn't have control. They should. But because the modern version has started to disrespect the one thing the NBA can't survive without: fan belief. And here's the scariest thought, one you just can't unsee. In a world where fans already bond with players more than teams, if players can change teams whenever the wind shifts, then what are fans actually rooting for? A jersey or a traveling storyline? Player empowerment should exist, but with guardrails. If you sign the contract, honor the contract, or request out quietly, not through public campaigns. If you form super teams, don't pretend it's the hardest road. If you rest, be transparent, because fans aren't paying for mystery. Because the NBA isn't just a league, it's a relationship. And relationships die when one side feels like the other stopped caring.